What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sang, and today we are walking in this beautiful neighborhood. I actually used to live over here, not on this street specifically, but a couple streets down this way, which I'm gonna actually walk towards that way, walk where my old house is. I used to live in this neighborhood when I was like starting 4th grade up until I graduated high school. So I usually cut through here sometimes, not all the times, but well, what a better place to walk than this, you know what I'm saying? So recently I watch Anton Daniels content, so he has a lot of channels, but the two that I watch, there's one called Anton Daniels and there's one called the Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels. I don't remember which channel this was on, considering I watch both, but he had a video recently where he was talking about black people and tipping, and he thinks that as a culture, black people as a whole are like bad tippers. And as a black person myself, I can't really agree with that statement, because coming up in my household, so my mom was black and my dad was white. My dad was the erratic one, and he wasn't really consistent with tipping. He was also the one that would give the food staff attitude. So I used to hate going out to eat with him. I actually stopped after a while because the attitude he would give. I used to work fast food. I know what people do when you give them attitudes about the food and stuff. I'm not stupid. I'm not about to go out and eat with you and you give them attitude and they spit in my food. No sir, that is not happening. So he used to do that a lot. My mom, she will tip. She's so old, because you know how nowadays they got the little square payment things where everything's like on a tablet or a screen, and it kind of just tells you like 15, 20, 25 and stuff. She still tips like 15, like back in the olden days when that was like acceptable. I don't know if it's still acceptable or not, considering it like the highest one I've seen is like 25 and 30% now on the little machines. So I don't know if it's just going up because of the times or what, but that's kind of like where it's at now. But I know that she'll stay around like the 15-20 marker when we're out. But from what I could tell you from my personal life experiences tipping with my black group of friends coming up, is that it really comes down to the class of people you hang with. So if you hang with a lower class of people, they're not gonna tip. And when I mean lower class, I don't mean in a financial sense where you're poor. I mean the type of people that give wait staff and cooks and stuff, janitorial service workers, are hard. Ooh, almost bust my ass. But I'm talking about those people that give those type of people in that work staff area a hard time about everything, and then will not tip on top of it. That's what I mean by a lower class of people. So I don't mean it in a financial sense at all. And coming up, I used to go out sometimes with people that would be like that, and I wouldn't go out with them no more at all. So you know, you just live and learn. When I was younger, I definitely, so in my earlier years, like 18, 19 and stuff, when I was way broker than I am now, there would be times where I really couldn't leave a good tip, and I actually just stopped eating out because at that point I couldn't afford to eat out anyway. So there's no point in me even being out to eat if I couldn't leave a proper tip. A lot of the places I was going to was average or like holes in the wall, and sometimes like I was doing that because I was like broke. I couldn't afford to eat out. But I was also doing that because I knew if I got like crappy service, I wasn't going to tip them, which was just wrong. You know, as you get older, you just start tipping better, especially if you have the financial means to. It wasn't until like I started personally working for myself when I started leaving great tips, like all the time. So depending how much money you spend, now I ain't got it like that now. If I spend like 500 on a service, I'm not gonna tip you 500, but you know, I try to keep it on that 25 to 30% consistently. And if you are like a mom and pop store, service, whatever, entrepreneur, I try to tip half. Like if I have it, I will try to tip you half, because that's just the type of person I am at this point in my life. Now I will say, because y'all see my hair is done, on the last couple vlogs I had like a do-rag on because I was waiting to get my retwist. I was like a couple of days out from getting a retwist, so I didn't mind having the do-rag on. But my new loctician, I tip her 25% consistently, but I only do that because my last loctician kind of ruined it for everybody moving forward. Because well, let me explain, because this is a wild story. I ended up having I don't know, I thought I was about to get jumped for leaving a good tip. Listen to what I said. I thought I was going to get jumped for leaving a good tip. Mind-blowing. I know. I never felt, I've never went through something like that, so I don't even know how to explain the experience. But what ended up happening was, my last loctician, from the very first day I used her up until the day she started tripping, I tipped her half. I tipped her half of whatever service I was getting done. So if I was getting a basic retwist and it was $75, I would tip her like $35. I know that's not half, but I'm just like quick math examples, right? Very first time I had my locks put in, she actually did them wrong, right? So it was $160 the first time I had them put in. I tipped her $80, right? So just to give y'all an idea, so I was doing this consistently from the very first day. So imagine doing this for months, right? So finally I get to the day that she was tripping. So I went in, I got a retwist with like a premium service or something done, and she wasn't trying to charge me correctly. So she was trying to give me $20 off. Either way, I was still gonna tip half like I always did, so it was gonna make up for it regardless. So she charged me, I think it was like $130 that day, $130, and I tipped half off of that, so that was $65. I get up, like after do everything, 'cause you know it's on the Square systems, they got it on their phones now. So I paid for it, put the tip in, gave her phone back, and when I did that, I was on my way to get my jacket because it was cold out at this point. This was like in October. This was like I think this was like 2 or 3 weeks before I quit my job. And I kid you not, as I'm on my way to get my jacket, she said my name. She was like, "Sang." And I like looked at her. She said it so angrily. I don't know why. And she was like, "Ew, why would you do this?" Now I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about, because like I said, I was used to tipping like this since like day one of her doing my locks. So I kind of looked at her confused. Her best friend was had her station next to her, and she got up. She's like, what she do? Like, she looked like she's ready to fight me. So like now I'm in a stance where I'm ready to fight, and I'm also confused because I don't know why she is tripping. And I'm just like, everything running through my mind, I'm just like, how do I get out of here? What is the quickest way to get to my car? And where the jacket was, there was an emergency exit back there. So I'm like, all right, I'm by my jacket, I could just snatch it and then bust out the emergency exit, because I'm not about to fight 2 people for tipping well. The fuck, you know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. So she looked at her friend and she was just like, "Look what she tipped me." And her friend looked at it and she was like, and her friend like calmed down and looked at her. She was like, "Okay, what's the problem?" And I was like, oh my God. I snatched my stuff up, I put it on, I just sped walk to the door, because I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with her. She tripping. I get to the door, then she yells out. She was like, and then when she yells out, she ain't even angry no more. She's just like, "Oh, don't forget to book your next appointment. See you next time. Bye." I'm like, what's this? What type of experience was this? Why did you just get all aggressive with me? Why was you mad about that? She never explained it. So I ended up telling my boyfriend and a few of my friends what had happened, and my brother, because my brother knows her. And since my brother knows her, he was just like, "That's weird. Why would she do that?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't know. I don't know why she would do that." It was the weirdest interaction I've ever had with her. I was like, man, I felt threatened. Like, I felt like I had to fight to get up out of there for a second. And he was like, well, go back, and if she trip again, maybe just confront her about it. And I was like, man, I don't know. At that point, dude I had worked with had locks. He was like, I told you they be tripping at that salon. Here's the number to go to the lady I use, which is where I go now. She's wonderful. I love going there. So I went back, like, I think like 4 or 6 weeks after. Oh no, I went back 8 weeks after the fact, because I wasn't at my job anymore, so I didn't do 4 weeks anymore. I went back 8 weeks after the fact. It was the holidays. She was by herself. She was in good spirits. When I tell you, I picked the lowest amount on there because she was tripping about me tipping her half. So I just went ahead, whatever the lowest amount on the square thing is. So if it said 10% or 5% or whatever it was, I picked it. And I had never picked that before. She seemed cool with it. I'm like, all right, whatever. Went back another like 8 weeks. So now it's around my birthday. So now I'm like a full year in of going to this place. She do my hair again. I picked the lowest amount again. And then after that, she just stopped. She never responded back to me about doing my hair. So I have no clue what was wrong with that girl, because it's like, you mad when I picked the highest amount. Because I noticed when I would get my hair done, she'd be working on other clients. They would not tip her. They would have like the exact amount of money. Or if they did tip her, it would be like $5 or something. So maybe she was used to that. And then, I don't know. Maybe she was used to that, and then she freaked out when she finally realized I had been tipping her like that all along, because there's no way she had paid attention to me doing that the whole time and then just freaked out that day. I think she just didn't pay attention when I would give her her phone back after paying. So I don't know. So I just started tipping like everybody else. Maybe she pulled that BS on everybody else. I don't know. But I stopped going to her. She was tripping. Well, she also stopped picking she also stopped responding to me when I would try to make an appointment. So it just is what it is. But that's like my weirdest tipping story. Like, usually people be like, oh, I didn't tip this person because of XYZ, and then it turned into this big drama thing. No, I actually tipped well, and it turned weird. So because of that, I don't even do that with my new loctician. I just pick the highest amount that it gives me, and that's like, I think it's like 25 or 30%. I just pick that and keep it pushing, and she'd be happy about it. She cool, I be cool with my hair. My old loctician also never did my hair this well, so it was just meant for me to move on. But what a weird way to move on with tipping, you know what I'm saying? But that's all I wanted to say. When it comes to tipping, man, basically, you can't afford to eat there, just don't even go out. Stay home, eat, figure out how to make a budget meal for yourself. You know, if you can tip and they are offering good service, now this applies to the US only, because I know outside of the US tipping like isn't a thing in a lot of countries. But if you live in the US, you know they don't make no money, man. And I know that's not really our fault, but that's just how it's set up. So if they give you good service, tip well, do what you're supposed to do. And like I said, I don't think tipping bad is a black thing. At least in my personal experience, I don't think it is. I just think it's a lower class type of people sort of thing. So with that said, I'm gonna finish the rest of my walk and go home, because it is hot. I'm sweating like crazy. I'm ready to change, put some fresh clothes on. But until next time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because you already know who it is. It's saying